Alrighty, so update 5.5 released with the rework of Odyssey. Now, I've never really tried Odyssey in update 5. I didn't really like it that much, but after trying out update 5.5 Odyssey rework, the reworked version of Odyssey, it is really interesting. So today I'm going to give you guys kind of like a decent guide on how to understand it and how to kind of farm it and play with Odyssey. By the way, chat, we're going to be doing a giveaway at 52k subs. We're going to be doing a battle pass giveaway. So if you want to be part of this, then don't forget to like and subscribe and join our Discord in the pinned comment down below. So the Odyssey game mode is right over there, but I'm gonna be going over a few things before we start this game mode. Number one, most important thing is you're gonna need to have, in my opinion, at least a decent collection of units. This is very important in Anime Vanguards. So if you're like a beginner right now that's just getting into Anime Vanguards, I would recommend that you get most units possible. Most of the units that you can possibly get. And this is because every single unit in Anime Vanguards, even the ones that don't necessarily look meta, are pretty good and can be used in a lot of different areas. And one of those areas you can use them is in Odyssey. Now, you will get why I mean that later, but let's get into Odyssey right now. Now, basically, Odyssey, let's actually read what it says in the description. Face escalating threats across an interdimensional journey, searching for your lost units and surviving as you upgrade them to new heights. Discover over 30 unique modifiers, transforming your abilities and reshaping every encounter. Experiment to unlock hidden synergies and new strategies. Delve into forbidden powers by corrupting your familiars, gaining immense strength but at a dangerous cost. So here in Odyssey, you can get elemental shards, which you can use to reroll your element of your familiars. Phoenix shard you can use to basically reroll your familiar stats. Corruption crystals filled with power, it can either enhance or harm those affected by it. So you can either enhance your familiar with corruption crystals or get cooked by it. Now, you have trade rerolls here as well as a reward. You have gold and you have gems as well. Now that you know what you can get from here, let's actually get started and click play. But before we click play, actually, this is very important. You have to divide your team into two groups. And the reason for this is because every time you play Odyssey, your first team that you play with, so currently this team right here, if I play with this team, I will not be able to use these 4 units right here, except for the farm, in the second Odyssey floor that I will be playing. So this means that I'll have to divide my strongest units into 2 teams in order to properly play Odyssey. And then I'll be giving you guys some more tips as we move forward. So what I'm gonna do right here is move to teams and equip my Odyssey. So this right here is my Odyssey 1. Actually, I'll be reworking that right now. Actually, we have Odyssey 2 right now. So what I'll do is edit my Odyssey 2 team real quickly. So this is how my team right here really looks like. So I usually divide my team into something like this. So basically 2 damage units, which I have 4 monarchs. So I use my monarchs as damage units. And you can really use any unit you want to. Like if you don't have monarchs, you can use your units with the most amount of DPS. Because by the way, you can easily gain a ton of yen in Odyssey. So yen really won't be a problem. And right here, I divided my team into 2 groups. So we have, okay, I'm gonna remove John Smith from here and then add Roku actually. Alright, so here's my team. I divided them properly now. So one of my team has Gogeta, Sid, and then Yuaba, and then a slow. Then I have right here a slow, and then a sport unit, and then these 2 guys right here, and then I have 2 farms. Now, obviously, you could probably make better teams if you wanted to, but really the purpose of this is just so I can juggle my monarchs and be able to keep playing. Now, you don't really need monarchs in order to finish this. You could be able to finish Odyssey. It's all about a matter of taking lower intensity to get a few more modifiers and not make the enemy so tanky. So basically, I'm gonna show you with that. Alright, so here I'm gonna start it and basically show you how it works. So by the way, Odyssey is really fun, right? I just want to say this outright. Odyssey is one of the most fun games I've tested out here. Now here you have a bunch of different modifiers that you can pick. So you have Slayer rounds right here. And by the way, I will be giving guys the best modifiers per rarity. So for rare, Slayer rounds and precision optics is a pretty great option. For epic, probably treasure map. So treasure map is pretty great. For legendary, all of them are really good except for best defense. And then for mythics, The best is Nexus Core System Fragment, and obviously the best one is Golden Age. It's the single best modifier in Odyssey. And yeah, again, Odyssey is really just all about getting the best modifiers that you possibly can. And if you don't have Monarchs, don't try and rush the intensity, which you will be seeing later. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is place my Songjun Vanguard over there. Again, if you don't have Monarchs, you're gonna have to take it much slower, and you can't rush into this game mode if you don't have as many Monarchs as I do. The first floor is relatively easy, but don't be fooled by this, because if you keep, picking the higher intensities, it will be insanely difficult eventually. Now after this, you can pick from 0 intensity to 100 intensity or 200 intensity. However, if you just keep picking 0 intensity, you're not going to be getting as much rewards as if you pick the higher intensity. So if you want to, get the more rewards, maybe you can pick 200 intensity as much as you possibly can to get the rewards. So 0 intensity again and again and again will give you not much rewards. 100 intensity will give you slightly better rewards, plus 200 intensity will give you slightly better and better rewards, but this will basically make it much more difficult for you. So for example, when I did this, I spammed 200 intensity and I was unprepared, and then when I reached the boss room at floor 6, I believe, I couldn't beat it even with like 3 Monarchs. So be very careful into what you are doing, but for me, since I have a decent amount of Monarchs, I'm gonna pick plus 200 intensity. Now if I go to the next one, it will take me to the next map, and then I will have, I believe, I don't have the Odyssey restocked yet. And as you guys can see right here in the bottom, my lineup, my first team, can no longer be equipped. So I have to equip my Odyssey 1 team if I want to be able to keep on doing the game mode. So this is how a boss stage in the Odyssey looks like. So I am currently in floor 5 right now. So this is floor 5, and we are working on this one right here. So what it basically does is you get a ton of boss spawn. So if you know the champion modifier, it's kind of like that. It spams a bunch of bosses at you with a lot of HP. Now the HP of the bosses that will be spawned against you are going to be dependent on how high your intensity is. Right now I'm at intensity 600, and had this been higher, the HP of my enemies would be higher, and had it be lower, the HP of my enemies would be much lower as well. So as you guys can see right here, I am beating them pretty easily because I did save up my Monarchs as well. So this is, I think, a pretty good practice. Plan in advance, right? So when you know that you're gonna be in floor 5, floor 5 is a boss room, what you could do is save up your best units for floor 5 and then use some alright units for floors before that. So what I did was in floor 4, the one before this boss room, I used only 1 Monarch unit. And then for my floor 5, which is the boss room, I used a bunch of Monarchs. Now, what you could do if you don't have a ton of Monarchs is use your meta units, all of them as much as possible in the boss stage, and then use your other units that are also kind of meta in the stages beforehand, which is a pretty good practice. Again, picking the best modifiers is also pretty important, and I do have a bunch of modifiers right now that I could use. So you know what, I'm just gonna place down most of my units. There's no way I'm gonna lose this game mode, honestly. Okay, and because I was pretty prepared for this, honestly, it was pretty much steamrolled. Now, there are going to be some stages where it's gonna be harder, and again, the higher intensity you are is the higher difficulty it will be. I believe the difference between intensity 600 and intensity 1000 is pretty significant, because when I had intensity 1000 in the first boss room, I had enemies who were going up to 5 million HP, and they were insanely difficult. So you do have to pick your intensities pretty wisely. And then, okay, so what's happening right here after this boss room right here? This was tough. Would you like to cash out your rewards early or continue your journey and risk failure? While you may still claim rewards, when failing, you will lose 600 intensity beforehand. So this is very important, because if you fail, you will lose 600 intensity, meaning you will get much less rewards. And this is why there's a risk, right? You can either keep on going and increase your intensity, or remove or cash out early and play it safe and not waste your time and get all the rewards that you can possibly get. It's all about risk management and also how strong you are. Now, Now, the rarest in all of this right here is going to be, without a doubt, the Phoenix Shard. This one right here is pretty rare, and I only have one of them. So you will have to grind more and maybe get higher intensity to be able to get more Phoenix Shards. So yeah, it's all about risk management and whatnot, and that's the full Odyssey guide, guys.